Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching or listening to us from. From the look of my eyes, I'm sure you have a sense of what time it is where I am. So I'm meant to do this once a week. I've done this. This is going to be the 8th week I'm doing this, and I know that I've sort of relenged in terms of the timing of when these videos are meant to be sent out. And it's just a simple case of life, and the busyness of it. But today we're going to be looking at something very key. And what we're going to be looking at is focus, and how focus shapes our future, and how that's the real superpower of anyone who's going to succeed in life. Now, if you wouldn't mind, just permit me to read, because I sort of had this sort of noted down earlier on. And I just simply put it at, our mind is our battlefield, and our phone is not a tool. Every notification is a weapon designed to steal your attention. And attention is the most valuable thing you own, because where your attention goes, your life follows. If you cannot focus, you cannot finish. And if you cannot finish, you cannot win. This is a very simple principle of life that many of us tend not to look at these days. We get distracted by the various notifications, the reels, the notifications, the posts, the emails, and all whatnot during the course of our day. And by virtue of that, a lot of time is actually wasted without us realizing it. Looking back as a nation, we have seen that there's been different conversations going on recently about the supposed Olodo generation and things like that, where jabs were being thrown at content creators and people in certain spheres. Now, the reality of this is that if you look at the comment sections of any post on most social media pages, you would question one thing, which is, how do these people think? How do these people reason? Do these people actually process thoughts? Do these people actually read? And this is the reality of a generation that is focused more on imagery, things that people see, without going back to facts in terms of people who read. Now, there's an old saying that readers are leaders. And the reality is that people who actually read and spend time focusing on developing themselves actually lead in whatever field that they look at, that they focus on. Not because of the fact that they're reading, but for the fact that the more you open your mind to knowledge and new information and witty inventions, your mind begins to think, it becomes creative. Your mind begins to think of new inventions, actually. Your mind begins to focus, and the neurons in your brain begin to connect dots in things that you see as you go about the commute of your day. And the reality of that is that if you look at every single successful person, and when I say successful person, I know the word success could be related depending on what perspective. We tend to focus on money these days, but life is beyond money. When you look at real successful people in different fields, be it in science, looking at Albert Einstein, be it in aeronautics, looking at the brothers who started the airplanes, looking at tech, the likes of Bill Gates, the likes of Elon Musk, the life of Jeff Bezos in the commerce industry, looking in the world of commerce, looking at the likes of Aliko Dangote, the LVMH group CEO, even Donald Trump, and people like that. You would see that a lot of them are people who have spent time thinking. I know some people are going to throw a jab at Trump, but please, I'm not here to go against the American president. I'm just giving examples of people who have succeeded in life. You would see something very deep there. A lot of them are deep thinkers. They're people who spend a lot of time focusing, honing their thoughts, reading, developing themselves, and allowing their minds to be creative. Now, I'll be honest with you. You could say that you could become creative by watching videos online, going through reels and stuff. You learn from there. But the reality is that if that's all you do, the videos, the imagery, the lights from those screens, they don't actually do much in terms of brain development. It does the opposite. It actually drains your brain mentally when you're scrolling through imagery and stuff like that. But people who are focused on reading, developing themselves, learning new skills, building themselves up in their career fields or whatever endeavors that they ventured into, you would see that those people always come up with new stuff. You will see that when situations arise, they see life from a different perspective and they are able to provide solutions to problems. Think about it deeply. Just think about that deeply. Imagine if Bill Gates spent so much time thinking about how he was going to put computers in the houses of every single individual around the world. Would we be where we are today? Imagine if Steve Jobs hadn't thought of, doing something creative even after he was kicked out of his own company, and he went to set up Pixar, and that then created a whole new world of animation in terms of the cartoon industry, graphics, and all of that today. And that still dovetailed into the iPhone, into the iPad, into the MacBook, and things like that today. Imagine if he hadn't spent time thinking, hadn't spent focused time, doing some deep work and developing himself. Do you think we would have those things today? Do you think we would have those devices today? Do you think that technology will have evolved the way it has evolved today? I'm a Christian by religion, and it's often said that there's nothing new under the sun, and that everything that exists today had always been there from time immemorial. It's just man discovering it as time transcends. And the only way we're going to discover new witty inventions is by our ability to spend time focusing on developing ourselves, learning new things, exploring our environment, exploring new trends, exploring new ideas. That's the only way we're going to change the world that we live in. And as a nation, Nigeria, we could say that yes, a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora and a lot of Nigerians here too have created witty inventions and things like that. But if you look deeply, if we were a bit more focused as a people, if we spend less time scrolling as a people, don't you think we'll have more witty inventions? Don't you think we'll have more creative things that would have been developed by Nigerians? Imagine if 80% of the people who go about trolling people on the comment sections on social media spend some time doing some deep work, reading something new, learning something new, taking a course, listening to a podcast, going on YouTube to watch a video on something that would actually educate and edify them. Don't you think we'll have a better nation? Don't you think we'll have a better set of people moving around, doing stuff? There's a brain drain, but the brain drain is not a function of the economy. It's a function of the people. People who don't read, people who don't develop themselves, people who are focused on money and not self-development. And yes, I know that things may not be so great economically. So, if, like they say, na person wey chop, na if you read. Na person wey chop, na if you work. But the reality is that the work, most times, is here. And if you don't build yourself up here, you can't build yourself up with your hands. Because the mind is a tool that allows you to produce, to work. A mentally unstable person cannot work. A person who's mentally deprived cannot function in a corporate environment. And that's the reality. So today, I charge you and I charge everyone to take out some time and do some deep work. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours in the morning. You start your day. Don't start your day by scrolling on your phone. I mentioned this in one of our podcasts previously. Start your day by doing something that develops you. It could be going online to take a course and you break it down to 30 minutes in the morning. It could be spending time reading a book before the day starts. It could be spending time doing some little exercise before the day starts. Don't start with your phone. And ensure that each day you spend at least an hour, 1 hour, if not 2, doing some real deep work. If you get into the office early, find a quiet place. Go there. Clear out the tasks that you have pending. No distractions whatsoever. Isolate yourself. Do that for a few days and compare your productivity levels to the previous weeks where you come in and scroll and binge and get on with things, you will see a significant difference in your productivity. You will see a significant difference in the output that you produce at work. Life is too short. Nigeria is a country that we have, is a nation that we have. We can choose to curse it. We can choose to abuse our leaders. But if we don't develop ourselves and spread this word around there and get people to develop themselves and become better people and better citizens, our nation isn't going to grow. The change that we desire starts with me and starts with you. So what are you going to do differently this week? Are you going to be focused and do some deep work? Or are you going to be distracted and scroll through life and scroll through the week? Thank you for listening. Like, share, and follow. Thank you.